Hello, good evening, dear people. Good evening, good evening, good evening, everybody. Good evening to you all. Is my audio feed, video, screen, and of course my visual is everything clear to everybody? Tell me that in the comments, please. Can you see me? Can you hear me properly? Tell me that, please. Hello, dear people. Tell me, is my audio, video, and everything clear? Tell me in the comments. I don't think I do have a problem. So let's start. Since I'm going to. So, MHCET is around the corner, right? So, today it will not be much of a theory class. This would be much of a practical workshop marathon. We'll be doing 5 sets, of course, in 2 hours. Then we'll be discussing all the important things that are related to that. Before we start, I just have to tell you two, three things that is going to be really helpful. First one, the success in RC is first thing is successful navigation. First step you always have to do in an RC is successful navigation, and then the second step is always understanding the question stem. Understanding the question stem. And then the third one is, of course, like eliminating the options. So these three things should be done as fast as you can. Like, don't rush when you are reading the passage. Take your time. Like, don't rush too much because you may kind of not understand it, and then you need to reread it, and that defeats the purpose, right? And for elimination, I have already discussed with in the class already Baines plus C theory. Like, Baines is the language based trigger, and like Baines, B means broad, A means alien, N means narrow, E means extreme, and S means subalter. And I will be showing you how to put all these triggers into practice today. And C means contradiction. And this is not language based trigger, this is a logic based trigger. So you should be always, you should pay a lot of attention to all these logic based triggers while you are like eliminating your answer choices. So before wasting much time, I'm going into the practice now. This is your first set. It contains 3 slides. So I'll give you, let's say, I'll give you 1 minute per slide. Okay, next slide. Next slide. Okay, I'll give you one more time, like 10 seconds per slide if you miss something. Let's get into questions now. First question, I'll give you 1 minute. Now, second question. Again, you'll get 1 minute per question. One minute per this question also. Next question. You only get 1 minute per question, guys. So do it fast. Well, next question. Okay, I'll show you question once again, guys. If you miss something, it would be a quick show. Okay, just 10 to 15 seconds. The people, I am facing some sort of technical difficulty. Can you please hold on for a second? Yes. No, third. No. Okay, we didn't see this question, right? Yeah, we give you 10 seconds more, okay? Okay, a sneak peek to the next question, guys. And this is your final question. So let's get to the passage, okay? So the agenda should be to minimize the time spent in like a set. So we'll read carefully and understand the core message. Okay. After a delay of 2 years, okay, they're talking about a delay, not actually a delay, after a delay. So something was delayed. This is like opening sentences are very important. Okay. The crime in India report for the 2000 for the year 2017 was finally released by the National Crimes Records Bureau on Monday. So this report was delayed by 2 years and it was released. Okay, fine. A few months ago, government officials has blamed the states of West Bengal and Bihar for lackadaisical responses in sending data and said that there are more subheads for data that would be added in the latest report requiring further collation and error correction. See, lackadaisical means lacking enthusiasm, lacking spirit or enthusiasm. So, what is happening? Uh, what is happening here? So, a few months ago, the government officials ने blame किया. किसको blame किया? Has blamed, they had blamed. So, किसको blame किया? The states of West Bengal and Bihar for lackadaisical responses. That states of West Bengal and Bihar they were lackadaisical. They don't have the enthusiasm in sending data. Like they did not send their data properly. Okay, fine. And said that more subheads for the data would be added in the latest report for further collation and error correction. And they said that like government said that there should be more subheads, like of course it's a crime report, so there will be more subheads of crimes and something like further collation means data like compiling and error corrections, the errors has to be corrected, right? This new subheads, so what are the new categories reportedly include? Okay, new categories, they will include some more, right? The like, that was a lackadaisical, they did not do a good job there, so the new subheads will include data on hate crimes. What will it include? Data on hate crimes besides those of related to mob lynching, killings, and other ordered by Khap Panchayat. See now, like what they are uh, adding hate crimes. They are adding hate crimes. Hate crimes means the crimes that are committed due to hate, particularly caste based and something like there has been a lot of examples of hate crimes besides to those related to mob lynching, like in addition to mob lynching means killing by the mob, lynching means like capital punishment is one among the most major punishments in any country. So lynching is like killing without the government. So mob lynching is killing that is related to mobs. Killings ordered by kap panchayats, you know, the panchayats that are like alternate government bodies. Murders by influential people. Now there are influential people who commit murders for their uh, of course they seek. Besides anti-national elements, except for the last category, crimes by northeast insurgents, left-wing extremists, and terrorists, the other subheads are missing in the report, which suggests that the bureau has not keen on including them. So what is happening? This new report, they include all these things like data on hate crimes, mob killings, killing ordered by khap panchayats, and then murders by influential people. All this are included there. But what is not included? The last category is not included. Crime by northeast insurgents. Insurgents means terrorists, left wing extremists, a different sort of terrorists. Like you don't need to know the exact meaning of each and every word. You have to grasp the main idea that is happening. And terrorists. Okay, like these are the anti-national people, right? Other subheads are missing in the report. The other heads are missing in the report, which suggests that the bureau has not keen on including them. So the bureau did not include them. They were not careful or they were not happy to include them. Okay, fine. Supreme Court last year in an order called for a special law to deal with lynching. Okay, now they're saying about this report. Now this report is all this. We are done. Like a new report has come. This includes this includes that. Does not include. Now we know what all it includes, what all it does not include, and we also know that these states were lackadaisical. Which are the states? West Bengal and Bihar. That is the important information. I retain it. If I have to get back, I'll come back here. Supreme Court last year had in an order called for a special law to deal with lynching, and data on such hate crimes would be useful in both law enforcement and jurisprudence. So last year, what did Supreme Court did? They passed an order, called for a special law. What did they do? They called for a special law to deal with lynching and data on hate crimes. So they passed a special law for what? Lynching, like unlawful killings, and data on hate crimes. Like this sort of hate crimes and data would be both useful in law enforcement and jurisprudence. So the Supreme Court passed this order because they think that these data, the data on hate crimes, like maybe it be kind of, these are all hate crimes, right? Let's say whether it be mob lynching, whether it be like car panchayat, whether it be an anti-national elements, all this hate crime, it is committed to one or other sort of trade. Now, why did the call for a special law? Now, the Supreme Court had ordered to call for a special law with lynching on data such as would be useful for. So, like when I'm reading such a sentence, uh, I know this, I know this, I know this lynching and like all these are in external, like additional information. Like why did they do that? Because they believe that it would be important for law enforcement, of course keeping law and order, and jurisprudence. See, jurisprudence is an important word, please note it down. Jurisprudence means philosophy of law. Jurisprudence is like a branch of philosophy of law. That means like it deals with the philosophy of law. Philosophy of law means like this law is not actual science. It's I could say it's as art as much as science. It is derived from experimentation and also observation. So there is a philosophy behind all these things, and that is called jurisprudence. The central government has time and again argued against the need for a separate law and has affirmed that curbing lynching was a matter of enforcement without proper accounting of hate crimes as of now. Separate law has affirmed that curbing lynching was a matter of enforcement. Okay, they're saying that curbing lynching is a matter of enforcement. It's okay. Without a proper accounting of hate crimes as of now, there exists only a few independent hate crime trackers based on media reports. Now they're saying that if you're not serious about this is going to be a problem. What is the government saying? This is a matter of info, and we don't have a proper system, and we are like without proper acknowledgement, there only exist a few independent hate crime trackers based on media reports. So we are we are. So could I say that? How can I put it? We are using media reports or independent trackers to deal with these kind of problems. We don't have a proper tracking unit for the hate crimes. Oh my god, that's really bad, right? The question arises if the government is serious about tackling them effectively. So that the question, like we are curbing on all this, we are on back on all of this. So what is the real question? Is the government really serious about tackling them effectively? Okay, fine. The NCRB data on crime hides significant variances in case registrations of serious crimes such as rapes and violence against women across state, uh, which make it difficult to draw statewide comparison. The total number of crimes committed against women in countrywide increased by 6% since 2016, while those against scheduled castes went up by 13%. However, there is a possibility that some states reporting crime better. See, the NCRB, like we so what is NCRB, right? National Crime Records Bureau. Now, the data they have on crime hides significant variances in case registration of serious crimes such as rape and violence against women across streets, which makes it difficult to do. So, what is happening? The significant variances there, like in case of rapes and violence, and that is proving us really difficult. That statewide comparison is really difficult. Why? The total number of crimes committed against women country-wise has grown up by 6% since 2016. That is also country-wise, not state-wise. We don't have a geographical data, demographic data is not available to us. However, there is possibility that some states report crime better. And scheduled cases went up by 13%. Like, and some states the crimes are reported more. Still, that is also a problem because we don't have a uniform pattern of how many crimes are being reported. Like all these things are in question. All these things need to be addressed. This is pertinent, particularly in a rate place where the Union Territory of India, Delhi, A rate of 12.5% per 1 lakh population surpassed only Madhya Pradesh 14.7 and Chhattisgarh. But the filing of rape complaints in Delhi has significantly increased following the public outcry over the uh, 2012 rape incident, and this could partially explain the high rate of it. Now we are getting into serious matter. Why is some states more reporting more and more crimes? So they're saying that the Union Territory of Delhi has a 12.5 per 1 lakh population uh, rate, but the filing of complaints in the other states is significantly low because after Delhi 2012 rape incident, high rate of such cases can be like people started reporting more. The fact that Delhi recorded a 40.4% of the total IPC crimes registered among metropolitan cities in 2017 is also likely to the use of easier online means to register them. Now they're saying that all these crimes are being reported because it's easy to report nowadays. First thing. Other drawback in the report is the use of census base year as 2001 to calculate crimes for states and 2011 for metropolitan states. Oh, now the census base is really old, 2001 and 2011. Now we were talking about a report in 2017. Then, of course, from 2001 to 2017 and 2011, be it from 2011 or be it from 2001, there would be a really drastic change. So this change will not be addressed in the census report. We don't know how many people are there. So we cannot assume state-wise graphic, that is a problem. Despite these issues, the report offers a useful snapshot of crime in the country. Or even though all these issues are there, the report offers a useful snapshot. That still this is useful because this is only what we have. Some crimes, murders for examples, do not suffer from registration issues as much. Some crimes like murders, see, in a murder case, the state is the opposition. You like nobody needs to file a case. Like if you murder someone, you need not put a case. Like the state will initiate inquiry on its own. So these case does not register for suffer from registration because the state is there and they are supposed to take upon this sort of cases. Okay, fine. 2017 report shows that the states in Northeast and other in the rest of the country have significant tribal population and have relatively higher murder rates, and this is the cause of murder. Now, what does the 2017 report say? That country with a significant tribal population, we do have a very good amount of tribal population in the areas of Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, and Odisha, and these places have higher murder rates, and this is a cause of worry. So what is happening? This is all talking about the report, like initially what were the things for hate crimes, how this is beneficial, and how what are the problems on it. Only 3 points that you need. These are the three supporting ideas. Okay, let's see now what is this question. Let's go to the first question. Which of the following statements is or are not true based on given passage? Before this, I'll take a second to explain the type of questions. It's last minute, still I wanted to do it. Three type of questions are usually there from an RC. First one is local questions, that is retention based questions. See, you need specific information, you need to locate the information, you need to then go back to the passage to go through the information. Now the second one is the global questions or the main idea questions, and these main idea questions you need to find the central argument that the author is making, and here you need comprehension. This is comprehension based questions. And then you have logical questions that involves inference, that involves reasoning, and I call it reasoning based questions. So these questions, you need to understand the central argument, and then you need to reason it into a level of property that you need to use your logic. Then only you can solve it. Now let's look at it. Which of the following statements is or are not true? Okay, not true means false based on the given passage. So there is something given here, and based on the passage, this is false. This is not right information. I have to pick it. First thing, crime rate in India increased by 6% since 2017. woman. Okay, but the problem is 2017 was not the year. If my memory serves me right, I had reported it somewhere. Yeah, 2016. So one is definitely wrong. I know this is a wrong year. Like 6% is okay. Crime against women increased okay, but the year is wrong. See, they put the trap on the year. So this one is eliminated. Crime in India. What is it? Crime in India. Crime in India report for the year 2018 has released after 2 years. Released after 2 years, that's fine. But the year 2018, it was 2017. You see, right? You see, special law before that, the year 2017 Crime in India report after a delay of 2 years. So this is also wrong. This is also wrong. I have to eliminate this option also. Crime against scheduled caste increased by 13%, even though year is not mentioned. The stats are right. Let's see whether the year is mentioned here. The total number of cases, yeah, here also year, like year is only mentioned in the case of women's crime only. Like no, so this is correct. So what is wrong? One and two is wrong. So C will be my right answer. See, this is how you guys get tricked. See, this is only a base because like for 2016 there were 2017, for 2017 there were 2018. You see, these are could be the small things that will cost your marks, so you should be always careful. Now the second question, according to the passage, which of the following states have not cooperated with NRCB? I know definitely because this was there in the first paragraph. The states of West Bengal and Bihar had a lackadaisical, lacking enthusiasm, did not participate properly. So I know like West Bengal and Bihar will be there. So my option would be both 2 and 3, not only. So E would be my right answer. This is from first para. See, this is how you retain the important information and then you tackle the question. According to the passage, which of the following crime has not been included in the survey? Okay, which are not included. In the first paragraph, I showed you using diagrams like I highlighted this anti-national elements. Like all these were included, all these were not included. Let's see what are all in the list. Uh, Following crimes. Okay, mob lynching was included. Crimes by terrorists, was that included? Hmm. See, here they tricked us again. The crime report says hate crimes, particularly hate crimes. Now, this is how they trick you again. See, crimes have different crimes. There are hate crimes, and then there are crimes of passion also. So the whole thing is like talking about crimes. So whether whatever is given, it is not mentioned in the passage. Like this was mentioned there, murder for influential crime by terrorist was not mentioned. Let me see, was that right? Uh, except for the last category. Last category was crimes for uh, crimes by anti-nationals was not mentioned. But the thing is that the problem is crimes by terrorist is the problem. Like, but these are all hate crimes. These are all hate crimes. But crime and hate crime is not equal. Crimes not equal to hate crime. So this is actually a broad question that goes beyond the scope of the passage. That is why I told you, and listening to the question stem is really important. That is why I'm picking up this kind of questions. So whatever is there that is not mentioned, because this is not mentioned in the passage. The passage is only talking about what are the hate crimes there, what is not, like what all crimes are there. No, but what all hate crimes are there, which was included, which was not included, what was the thing. So this is how you should provide a proper attention to the question stem. Then only you can navigate it properly. Now let's go to the next question. According to the passage, the author says that there might be chances for some states reporting better than some other crimes. What all are the crimes that he tries to convey? Okay, now says some crimes are reported better. The author did say that in the third paragraph. So which are those crimes? Mob lynching? No, there was of course no talk about mob lynching. There was a talk about women, that 6% increase. That's right. Then SC community, of course, scheduled caste, there was a significant population, 30% increase, right? So both B and C, A and my option would be D, both C and C. See, you should always keep your that kind of analytical mind on while approaching. Okay. Which of the following is true based on the given passage? Okay. What is true? Delhi holds the maximum number of rape cases registered with a rate of 12.5 per 1 lakh population. No, no, no. Because in this sentence, where the Union Territory of Delhi rate 12.5 surpassed only by Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. See, Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh has more rate in the case of rapes. So no, this is not there. States in northeast and other areas with tribal population have higher murder rates, and that is true because this is was the ending sentence, right? Yeah, here northeast states higher murder rates. This was actually true. So, according to the passage, this is true only. Delhi records 40.4 per lakh population of the IPC crime registered among metropolitan cities. Let's see. 40.4%. We do have some stats here about Delhi. The fact that Delhi recorded 40.1 of the total items registered among metropolitan 27 is likely due to the online. Okay, now that is right. Let's see. Let's see. Mm, per lakh. Okay, let's verify it again. See, that is 45.4% only. But 40.4%. Now here the stats are a little bit confusing. 40.4 per lakh population. Now you see 40.4% and 40.4 per lakh is different. So this is also not right. Madhya Pradesh has a rate of 14.7 per 1 lakh population under mob lynching. No, there is no stats of mob lynching ever given. So all of them was not my option. C is not my option. D is not my option. E is not my option. A is not my option. B is my right option. So that is the first set. Now you see guys, this was a tricky set. See, even though all the things were simple and straightforward, the questions were also straightforward. If you don't have a proper logical way of going through them, this could prompt. So when there are ears and when there are other things, you should always go back to the passage when there are stats involved. So the key learning that you should take away from here is if it involves numbers, go back to the passage. That is the key learning here because you see 40.4 per lakh, but actually it was percent. So per lakh and percent is actually different. If you didn't go, if you had a broad idea there, so it's always safe to go back to the passage even if you're sure. I'll give you 1 minute per slide to read. This is the second set, guys. So let's do it. Again, one moment. Don't worry, I'll give you a 30-second more, like on each slide if you haven't done it in the last, before going to the questions. Good. Ten seconds more on each slide, okay, guys? Have a look. So let's get into the question, guys. I'll put it like this so guys can see it more easily. We get 1 minute per question, okay? The word you're missing here is expansion, okay? Maybe due to my camera, you guys can't see me. Next question, people. So I'll just give you one more peek in the questions. Question number one. Question number two. Question number three. So, okay, now this is the next set. Okay, let's start with this. Okay. See, there would be some sort of unfamiliar words, like whatever be your language in literature, whatever be your level in literature is, you are going to get some unfamiliar words in the passage. But let me tell you that if you have a proper navigation structure, you will be able to understand and solve the question. We can answer Fermi's paradox in two ways. I actually don't know what Fermi's paradox is, and I'm not interested in knowing also because it might be a very scientific term. Perhaps our current science overestimates the likelihood of extraterrestrial intelligence evolving. So, this Fermi's paradox is being explained in two ways or answered in two ways. That's fine. First one, our current science overestimates the likelihood of extraterrestrials like intelligence involving. Extraterrestrial means out of the earth, of course, out of the earth, of course. So that intelligence of the other the aliens we could say is evolving, okay, fine. Or perhaps evolved technical intelligence has some deep tendency to be self-dementing or even self-terminating. Or perhaps now the second one is technical intelligence, this intelligence that is related to technology has some deep tendency to be self-limiting or self-exterminating. Either it will self-limit or it will external. So this is how the Fermi's paradox is being answered in two ways. Okay, fine. I don't have a clear picture in chat. After Hiroshima, some suggested that any aliens bright enough to make colonizing spaceship would be bright enough to make thermonuclear bulbs, and we would use them on each other sooner or later. Okay, now it makes sense. Now they are saying that like either that extraterrestrial intelligence will evolve, or our would tend to a place where it is self-limiting or self-exterminating. That would stop. We would stop innovations. Now they're saying that after Hiroshima, any aliens bright enough to make colonizing spaceships, may it be humans, may it be people from Mars, if you are able to make spaceships that is able, like that is the purpose, with the purpose of colonizing other spaces or other planets, you would be bright enough to make thermonuclear bombs. If you can make spaceships so bade baat hai bhai. तो thermonuclear बात तो कितना छोटा बात है. Like if you can make spaceship like the one who can run 10 kilometers or 100 kilometers, for him 100 meters is kya farak padta. It's very easy, right? So for make thermonuclear ones and would use them on each other sooner or later. And what we'll do, we'll throw it to them, they'll throw it to us, we'll use them and we'll destroy. Wow, great. I suggest a different, even darker solution to paradox. Now, what I am suggesting now, the author is getting involved here. Author is getting involved here. See, we was a plural paradox. Like this was actually not as real opinions, but when you see we and I, these are first pronouns, people pronouns. So the author is presenting his opinions now. I suggest a different, even darker solution to paradox. Now, I have a different solution, but this is dark. The earlier thing was already dark, colonizing spaceships and throwing science self-terminating or exterminating or self-limiting or extraterrestrial. Like, that was itself dark. It is like Newton's, like, no, not Newton, Christopher Nolan's film only really dark. Or Oppenheimer, that kind of film, really dark. Now he's giving an even darker approach. Sadistic thing, I think he's. Basically, I think the aliens forget to send radio signals to or colonize space because they're too busy with runaway consumerism and virtual reality narcissism. Okay, getting to the comical stuff. I think the aliens forget to send radio signals or colonize space because they are too busy. Now the aliens, the other people in the like the not the people, the inhabitants, like the one who inhabit their inhabitants of other planets, they are busy with the runaway consumerism and virtual reality pleasure. They're in behind consumerism, they're consuming, they're creating, they're on the fast fashion track. And virtual reality narcissism, virtual reality is the most important step. I don't want reality, only virtual reality. Once they turn inwards to chase their shiny pennies of pleasure, they lose the cosmic plot. They are coming inwards, like they are stretching inwards for their shiny pennies of pleasure, for their own pleasure. Shiny pennies is actually as abstract, like an imagery. They lose their cosmic plot, so they are losing the bigger picture because they are like choosing their gratification, their small gratification instead of the bigger picture. Like you are today watching Netflix instead of preparing for MBA MHCET. What is that? If that is what you're doing, then of course that is the same thing. The aliens or the inhabitants in the other planet, they are also busy about this kind of stuff. That's fine, perfect. Let's see the next one. Fundamental problem is that, okay, now we're getting to the fundamental problem. Now all this were in the surface. Now we are doing a deep level analysis. We are getting deeper. The problem is that an evolved mind must pay attention to indirect use of biological fitness rather than tracking fitness itself. Now, an evolved mind, person who's evolved, or who has a evolved mind, who has a matured mindset, or who's smart enough in this generation, must pay attention to indirect use of biological fitness. You should pay attention to indirect use of manner rather than target fitness. Now he's getting a bit sarcastic. Now every day I've seen people with that thing whoop in their hands, and they track their sleep, they track their heartbeat, they track their everything, but they don't know whether they don't know whether they would pant if they run 2 kilometers or whatever. They don't know about the biological news. Everything is app related. This was a key insight of revolutionary psychology in 1990s. Okay, wow, this was a key insight of evolutionary psychology in 1990s. Okay, fine. Although evolution favors brains that tend to maximize fitness, as measured by numbers of great grandkids. No brain has the capacity enough to do so under every possible circumstance. As a result, brain must evolve shortcuts, fitness, promoting tricks, cons, recipes, and heuristics that were, or on an average, usually ancestral normal condition. Technology is fairly good at controlling external reality to promote real biological fitness, but it's even better at delivering fake fitness, subjective cues of survival and reproduction without the real world effects. Now, what is happening? What so many words here? He is putting on so many words. So, what is the so many words? What is the main idea? Is like now, like all we do is not right. Like if the evolution was correct, then we should be tend to able to maximize the fitness. Now, there was a survey recently that the more and more people are becoming obese, and more people are impotent nowadays. So that if the evolution was right on the point of view, and this whole thing should be minimized, right? The fitness should be maximized, and we don't have the capacity to do under every possible circumstance. No brain has the capacity. So we do shortcuts. Everybody who doesn't want a long way, they'll do crash diet, they'll do shortcuts. What are the shortcuts? Fitness promoting tricks. Oh, do this for 10 days, you will get six pack. Cons. This powder, the best powder for weight loss. Recipes. Eat keto, eat high protein, eat low protein, eat high carb recipes. Don't want to work. Heuristics that work on an average use ancestrally normal conditions. Technology is fairly good at controlling external reality to promote real biological fitness. Technology is good on what? Controlling external reality to promote real fitness, or that technology. It's even better at delivering fake fitness. Now, what is happening? Which technology that we use to promote the real biological fitness, like the blood test, the ECG machine, even now it is turning towards a different thing called a fake fitness. You're getting this whoop coop, eat this, eat that, subjective cues of survival and reproduction without the real world effect. What is happening? The survival and the reproduction, people are getting more and more sick. Why? Because they are not paying attention, they are running behind shortcuts. Okay, fine. Fitness faking technology tends to evolve much faster than our physiological resistance to it. Our physiological resistance, like say, evolves at like this. Fitness faking technology, like this huge leaps. So it is evolving faster. Wow, great. With the invention of Xbox 360, tell me guys in the comment box, how many of you play Xbox? I don't know. People would rather play a high resolution virtual ape in Peter Jackson's King Kong rather than a perfect resolution real human. Now, what is happening after coming Xbox? Everybody is in virtual reality. They want to play PUBG and all, like the virtual ape and all. They don't to go out and do the real stuff, bro. Wow, that's really sad, right? Kids today must find their way through a carnival of addictive fitness faking entertainment products. The traditional stables of physical, mental, and social developments, athletics, homework, dating are neglected. What is happening? People are being shrunk to their own pleasure. Like because there is no dating. People are finding online dating, Tinder, swipe right, message. That is the new kind of dating. You don't see people, you don't socialize, no homework, you don't study. You're all the time scrolling reels. Athletics. There you might have thousands of fitness apps in your phone, but you don't do a real stuff. You don't even walk 2 or 3 kilometers a day. Now everybody's like neglecting all this. A few young people with the self-control to pursue the meritocratic path often get distracted. Now there are still few young people who have self-control and pursue the meritocratic path based on merit, like what is really important. Often get distracted with that last minute due to peer pressure. When I was in college, PUBG was a real trend. So my friends, everybody will say, I got Ace level 2, I got Conqueror level 3. And I thought it was all bells. Then I understand this is a level in PUBG that you achieve and that you keep it as a trophy. So instead of saying that I am a state level martial artist or something, or I am a Olympiad winner, or I have a girlfriend, people are like they're shrinking into their own zone now. They don't care about anybody else. They only care about their own passion. Okay, fine. And this is only because fitness faking technology is evolving much better than our physiological resistance, not physiological, psychological. Sorry, guys. What is psychological? Like our mental ability to resist it. Okay, fine. Around 1900s, most invention concerned by physical reality, and in 2005, focus shift to virtual reality. Like in the earlier 90s era, everything was physical reality. Now it shifted to virtual entertainment by 2005. Like how much? Only 105 years, the shift has completely. Fruits pleasure principles triumphs over reality principle. Now fruits pleasure principle, it's a sort of principle that triumphs over the reality principle. Like from that, you can say that people are more into pleasure than reality. Okay. Today, we narrowcast human interest stories to each other rather than broadcasting messages of universal peace and progress over other star systems. May the bright aliens did the same. I suspect that a period of fitness faking narcissism is inevitable to alter intelligent life evolves. This is the great temptation for any technological species to save their subjective reality to provide the cues for survival and reproductive success without substance. Most alien species go extinct gradually, allocating more and life resources to their pressure and less to their children. Now, what is they saying? In 1900s, all this worked for the betterment, and now this has shifted to the worsening. And like his theory is that aliens are also doing the same. That is why they are not reaching anywhere. They're giving more importance to their pleasure. That is why they are being extinct gradually. That is the only thing that you have to understand here, right? Heritable variation in personality might allow some lineages to resist the great temptation and last longer. Now, heritable heritage based on your heritage, there might be some lineages that resist the great and last one. Some individuals and families may start an irrational, loaded abhorrence of entertainment of technology, and they may evolve more self-control, consciousness, and pragmatism by combining family values of the religious right with the sustainability of the green peace. See now some families, people born into some families, they would put technology aside and based on their family values, they'll start to invest on real estate and these people become really successful and they control the world. See, like, let me say that if you choose to work, like, say, uh, if you're choosing to work, of course, you will get this. But if you choose to sit and play video games, you might be a champion there, but what use? Okay, of course, you can stream it online and then there would be other people watching and then you might get some money, but there's no real point, right? They wait patiently for our fitness feeling narcissism to go extinct. Those practical minded breeders will inherit planets like minded aliens may have inherited a few other planets. When they finally achieve contact, it will be not a meeting of novel readers and gameplayers, it will be a meeting of dead, super serious parents. Serious superfans who congratulate each other on surviving not the bomb, just but the Xbox. See now when this practical minded breeders, like in every planet, there would be like these practical minded people, so these practical minded people will make a way to go there and inhabit. And then the next generation would be shaking hands who does not survive the one but the Xbox. And then they are saying that the Xbox is really more problematic than the bomb. People are focusing on their own pleasures instead of the bigger picture. Read passage. Let's see. Which of the following statements would the author of the passage agree the most? What would be something the other way? Violent crime, including gang warfare for text protection and expansion, coexist in all technological advanced society in spite of proliferation. Violent gang warfare, turf protection, expansion, violent crime. Where was this all mentioned according to Baines? We are going to Baines here. This is an alien. This person is an alien concept. I am going to eliminate it. The technology to produce fitness faking gadgets is guided by the government's desire to control the minds of citizens. There was no saying that the government wanted to control the minds of citizens, so they are promoting this and keep citizens away from engaging in troublemaking activities. This is also an alien. I think the question creator is from Mars or Venus or somewhere. I don't know who created these questions, but alien again. Countries that have most advanced technology often are the ones that are at the forefront of colonial expansion through wars. Most advanced technology countries eh, forefront of colonial expansion through wars. Where was war stopped? Where was colonial expansion? All these are from Venus, I think. Alien concept again. I cannot put this into the context of the paragraph. These all are beyond the scope. and I call them aliens. Even like this thing, right? We are using alien concept. Eliminate the options that includes alienization. Well, great. Wars and colonial conquest engaged by European nations after Renaissance had fitness faking graduates and consumerism existed in those countries. Search for colonies is undertaken by the wars and colonial conquest engaged in by the European nations. Okay, after Renaissance. Okay, would not have occurred. Now, this is something the author will agree, right? Because if the fitness making gadgets and consumerism existed on those times, then people would shrink to their comfort. People would shrink to comfort. So there would not be for wars and colonial conquest engaged in by European nations. That would not be because this is something the author would likely agree. I don't know. I'm going to park it here. Search for colonies is undertaken by all countries with respect of technological expansion. The colonial expansion is guided more by the need of adventure, well, need for adventure more than for resources. No say the search for colonies is undertaken by all countries. No say we were all talking about Fermi's paradox. Even we don't know what Fermi's paradox is. We were talking about that stuff, no? And like people were saying that even like what the people were saying that no, this is like undertaken by all countries are doing for searching for colonies. These are all something that the author has nothing to say. But he is talking about the Fermi's paradox that are being like given two views. So D is something the author would learn because these things would not exist when people should their comfort. Cool. Second, which among the following would be the best possible explanation for the lack of contact between human beings and aliens? Okay, now what is the best possible explanation for lack of contact between human beings and aliens? Overestimation of the technological capability of aliens. We overestimated them. Can be, maybe, I don't know. Let's see if genetic variations in aliens personality is not achieved yet. This is an alien concept. There is not talking about genetic variation, right? So beyond the scope of alien, I'm not taking that. Thermonuclear bombs might have destroyed all aliens. Come on, bro. We haven't given any bomb other than Earth. Other than in other, no other planet has survived a bomb attack. Earth only. So B and C is directly. Colonization of space is impossible to achieve. Who said that? Who said that? Even like today it may be, but we are sending people to Mars, we are sending people to Moon. So why can't we colonize? Again, alien concept. But this is also not the case for contact, right? We are looking for the lack of contact ka explanation. Best possible. This cannot be explained. Like this is something very alien concept cannot be explained. This also cannot be explained. Colonization also cannot be explained. Aliens have some self-centered and pleasure-seeking. It might be a possibility, but that is not the real reason for lack of contact, right? Because we are like overestimating their technological capability. Right? The aliens might have, so this is the only logical option I have. So I will mark A and then I'll move on. Because this is of course something the other would agree with, but if they are like pleasure centered, then there are some practical minds also. So why don't they contact them? Like so, we are overestimating the technological capability of the capacity of the aliens. Third question: among the following options, which one represents the most important concern raised in the passage? What is the most important? Okay. Extraterrestrial life and its impact on human beings. Extraterrestrial life was a good concern, but its impact on human beings was not there. So this is actually a subaltern according to the uh, passage. So lack of interest in developing proper systems, that was a concern. So I'll park it there. It's a good option. Short-term pleasure versus pleasure-seeking behavior. See, this is a broad concept. Even though playing video games or singing to his own thing is a short-term pleasure. It was not implicitly stated. And it is not a concern. It is one of the most prominent causes of eliminating C also. Not a good option. It's broad, too broad. Technological advancement and extension of intelligence. Oh, extreme. Extension of intelligence. It's extreme and also it's a subaltern. Whereas there was no saying that intelligence has been exalted. It is also there, not there. Tendency of brain to develop shortcuts. That is not a concern. That is actually a feature or a characteristic. So that is not a concern. So lack of interest is the only concern that like this is not a concern, this is not a concern, this is not a concern, this is also not a concern. It's also subaltern thing, subaltern. So these are all not true and contradict the option. So B would be my option. See, you should always answer the question. That is the key takeaway. Always answer the question that is asked. That's it, guys. I'll give you 1 minute per set per slide. And then we will kind of. Good evening, sir. Glad to see you back in with a wonderful marathon. Thank you, brother. I'm giving you 1 minute per slide. 9:15 it is. 9:16. We'll move to the next slide. Okay. So that's a great compliment, brother. I know I'm nowhere in the ballpark of Jijo Srinivasan, sir. He is an absolute legend, but I tried to give my maximum. I think this you only need 30 seconds or something. It's a very short paragraph. Particular so much human concept to understand words. Intervention. Oh, LP sir, LP sir is really underrated in terms of ARC. He's well known for his quant and DLR classes, but LP sir is a legend. I would say. Give him any topic, it's gonna blow your mind. It's actually Utsav season in Kerala, and I can see like the melam, the drums, the traditional drums, all done in crows. Of course, brother. No comparison on ALP, sir. The way of his presentation, the way, the insights that he gives us is like not in the level of an ordinary person. Like he's also a well-known author, right? He has published so many books. Let's get in the question, boys and girls. LP sir is a goat in terms of years. Yes, LP sir is a goat in terms of everything. Be it VRC, be it con, be it uh, DILR, whatever that is, he's a goat. Go to him with JEE means mathematics questions, he'll solve that. Go to him with ISP paper, he'll solve that also. He's a goat in terms of everything. When you speak about LP sir, I really remember one of his quotes that language and mathematics should go hand in hand in the ordinary course of life. And that was a really good quote. I really like the quote. Second question. Yeah, I do try to follow the four friends of the God because, of course, they are the forefathers of many kind of lessons that we see today. So, of course, I would be inspired to a level. I really try to create my own style, even though I am inspired by all of this. So, quick view. Only three questions in this. 10-second drill, guys. Just take a look. So let's start. Galileo, big man. Okay. It is sometimes said that consciousness is a mystery. Okay, people say that consciousness, the being conscious, that I am conscious, I know what is happening in around me. It is a mystery. It is sometimes said that. In the sense that we have no idea what it is. We don't know what consciousness is. Even we don't know what consciousness is. There is consciousness and we are aware of that. We don't have the particular idea. Okay, fine, it's fine. That is clearly not true. It's not true. That is not true. What could be better known to us than on our own feelings and experiences? Like consciences means you knowing your own feelings and experiences. And what could be better known to us? Like what do we know better than ourselves or our feelings and our experience? What is better? No. The mystery of consciousness is not what consciousness is, but why it is. Now we are coming to the mystery. What is the mystery? The mystery of consciousness is not what consciousness is. It's not regarding what, what in real life consciousness is, but why it is. Why are we conscious? Why it is nothing? What it's not the what, it's not the real details or how consciousness work or what is the particular things. We are not we are not worried on that. We are worried on why it is. We don't know that. Fine. Modern brain imaging techniques have provided us with a rich body of correlation between physical processes in the brain and experiences had by a person whose brain it is. Now, modern brain imaging techniques like MRI, we have CT, and then has provided us with a rich body of correlations. There are correlations, you know correlations. Being a MHCET student at this domain, you should know correlations, that the relation between two variables, say alpha and beta, if they are directly not alpha and beta, A and B, let's take two variables, and if they're directly proportional, as the rate A increases, B will also increase. So that is directly proportional, and then we equate it with the constant and all. So you know what correlation is between physical process in the brain, what is happening in the brain, the releasable chemicals, the physical process in the brain, and the experience had by the person whose brain it is, and the experience had by the person whose brain it is. Okay, what is his experience? What is a, like when we feel happy, the dopamine inside our head is releasing, the brain is releasing. We know, for example, that a person undergoing stimulation in his or her or his ventromedial hypothalamus feel hunger. So, for example, a person who's feeling hungry, that is the experience he's having. That is the experience, hungry or feeling hunger. That's fine. Uh, the stimulation in his or her ventromedial hypothalamus. So this stimulation is the cause. Now that is the physical process that is happening, and the experience he is having is hunger. Okay, fine. The problem is no one knows why this correlations hold. Let's say we say momentum directly. Momentum is P, right? P directly proportional to V. Like the more the velocity or more the speed, the more the momentum or the impact, like let's say impact. There are also non-mathematical folks here. So impact is directly proportional to speed. If a car hits at if a car is at 10 kilometer speed, it has a certain newton of impact. If it is at 20 kilometer, I am sure that this will be about 10. So the why are this correlation holding? Like let's say when the hypothalamus or the ventromedial hypothalamus stimulates, this person feel hunger, and it does that all the time. Why is it like that? That is the problem. We don't know. It seems perfectly conceivable that ventromedial hypothalamus stimulation could do its job in the brain without giving rise to any kind of feeling at all. It is just doing its job. It just do it, giving any kind of. No one has even the beginnings of an explanation why some physical systems, such as the human brain, have experiences. No one knows why these have experiences. This is the difficulty David Chalmers famously called the hard problem of consciousness. It's not what, it's why. Why are these correlations having? Why are these experiences like this? Why is like when the oxytocin is released, why do you feel happy? So all these things are not explainable. Why is this like this every time? That is the problem. And this problem is called the hard problem of consciousness, and it was called by David Chalmers. I don't know who is David Chalmers, okay? Materialistic, materials, the people who are based on evidence. How One may be able to explain consciousness in purely physical terms. We will say that this is what consciousness, it exists like this is like that, this is the experience. But this project now has a long history of failure. Now, this project has gone so long, but it is failing all the time. We cannot prove it based on system of empirical evidence. That's fine. The best approach is to the hard problem is that they always end up avoiding the issue by redefining what we mean by consciousness. Now, what is the problem? The hard problem is that they always end up avoiding the issue by redefining what we mean by consciousness. Like, say, for issue one, they say that consciousness one is that is consciousness. Now I go to a materialist with second issue, I have another issue. Then he will say that this is consciousness. If I go to a materialist with third issue, he will say that another thing is consciousness. He doesn't proper definition for consciousness. He's always constantly redefining consciousness. No consistency at all. Why materialist? Why? They start off by declaring that they are going to solve the hard problem. Big talk and all, huh? Big talk, big percent. And we're going to solve the hard problem to explain experience. But somewhere along the way, they start using the word consciousness to refer not to experience, but to some complex behavioral functioning associated with experience. Start by to like understand what consciousness is. Then they cannot explain this completely. Some complex behavioral function they're saying, such as an ability of a person to monitor his internal states or to process information about the environment. This is all like internal state, if I'm sad, if I'm happy, or if I know whether it's explaining complex behaviors is an important scientific endeavor. But the hard problem of consciousness cannot be solved by changing the subject. Now, what is the problem? They always redefine. They say that this is sometimes it is an experience, sometimes it's consciousness, sometimes it is a behavioral function associated with experience, and they say that it's it's evidence based and all. But the problem is they are redefining this all the time. They don't have a pure idea. Okay, fine. In spite of all these difficulties, in spite, even though all these difficulties are there, many scientists and philosophers maintain optimism that materialism will prevail. Many scientists and philosophers maintain optimism. They have good hope about future. That's optimism that materialism will prevail. At every point in this glorious history, it is claimed that philosophers has declared that certain phenomena are too special to be explained by physical forces, light, chemistry, life, only to be subsequently proven wrong by relentless march of scientific progress. Whenever earlier during the history, whenever philosophers say this is metaphysical phenomenon, like beyond physics or beyond science, when science improved, they bursted out the area. They're like, gravity. Why is people falling down? Gravity, bro. As a magnet. What are you saying? A light. Why is light happening? The sun rays from the sun is hitting us. That is why we have the light. That is light. Earlier they were saying that okay, this is God. Now they're saying it is sun. So whatever is happening, when the science is progressing, when the materialism is progressing, the evidence-based approach is progressing, they are always proven the philosophers wrong. And even now, many scientists and philosophers believe that materialism will prevail in this case also. Let's see. Before Galileo, it was generally assumed that matter had sensory qualities. Tomatoes are red, paprika are spicy, flowers are sweet smelling. How could an equation capture the size of a head? See, before Galileo, it was assumed that matters had a sensory quality, sensory relating to senses like sight, hearing, taste, whatever senses you have. Tomatoes are red, sense. Paprika are spicy, sense taste. Flowers were sweet, smelling. Okay, that's smell. I was like, flowers were sweet. Who on earth, who on God's green earth eats flowers? That was my first thing. How could an equation capture the taste of spicy paprika? I'm going to write sigma size, uh, like burning rate, sensation rate, my this taste buds command efficiency. I put I here, J here, K here, and sigma denotes k. I put b here, I put a here. Now I form an equation using calculus or some sort of mathematical operation. How is this going to equation? Like for this is all mutually exclusive for everybody. The taste really different, right? If a sensory quality cannot be captured in a mathematical vocabulary, it seemed to follow that a mathematical vocabulary never capture the complete nature of matter. Even the mathematical thing cannot capture a sensory quality. Let's say, like it's only like this. Let's say you in your house there is two people, and somebody made spicy chicken curry. Me and the other person sitting in the side of the screen, we are going to a restaurant. So, me being from Kerala, I have been exposed to a lot of spices from my early age. I am a very good fan of chili. So, what is happening? Let's say we both order the same spicy curry, and it feels kind of okay spicy for me and very spicy for you. This thing cannot be put to mathematically because all the spices, all the sampling, all the material evidence say the sensory thing is different. So if it cannot give the give this basic thing, then how will it give the complete nature of matter? Galileo's solution was to strip matter to its sensory qualities and put them in soil, as we might put it in the mind. A sweet smell isn't really in the flowers, it's in the soil of the person smelling it. Even the colors for Galileo are on the surface of the themselves, but in the soul of the person observing it. And if matter in itself has no sensory qualities, then it's possible to principle to describe the material wood, purely quantitative vocabulary and mathematics. That was the birth of mathematical physics. Now, what did Galileo do? Galileo said the sensory thing that cannot be mentioned using the experience but can be mentioned using the person. Let's say a person having color blindness and a person who is not colorblind sees different colors. That is according to the person. It's all like in soul he means body, of course. Sweet smelling a person for me, especially for being from Kerala, uh, like living near a temple, the morning, the dubas, the sandal, and everything that gives me so calmness. But then other person will not give that get that same experience. So that is different. So it's in the soul. Like you say, beauty lies in the beholder's eyes. My girlfriend would be beautiful and sensible to me, but she would not be that to you. So this is all subjective. So he put he took it from the material to the soul. That was, and then the mathematical physics was born. But of course, Galileo didn't deny the existence of sensory qualities. He said, even though the experience is based on soul, the experience is based on souls. That's right. That's fine. सर जी हिंदी और मराठी में ट्रांसलेट करो हिंदी और मराठी अरे यार अपन क्या हो रहा है ना लाइक इतने देर क्या बोल रहे हैं ना कि कॉन्शियसनेस को हिंदी में क्या बोलते हैं मेरा हिंदी थोड़ा कमजोर है बट फिर भी मैं कोशिश करूंगा कि कॉन्शियसनेस में क्या हो रहा है ना लाइक इतने देर पे कॉन्शियसनेस क्या है क्या हमको पता नहीं है लाइक क्या है पता है क्यों है पता नहीं है कि हमारा ब्रेन में थोड़ा कोई स्टिमुलेशन होते हैं तो हमको भूख लग रही है या हम तो हम खुश लग रहे हैं और ये तो कोरिलेशन सभी देर में होते रहते हैं तो मेटीरियलिस्ट लोग हैं जो एविडेंस में बिलीव करते हैं तो वो तो ये इसमें ये डिफाइन करने में बहुत कोशिश किया बट दे फेल्ड तो अभी तो क्या बोल रहे हैं ना लाइक गलीलियो लाइक दिस एम्पिरिकल अप्रोच ना गलीलियो ने पर्सन सेंट्रिक बन गया कि हर इंसान का एक्सपीरियंस अलग अलग होते हैं ऐसे बन दिया हमारा गलीलियो भाई ने अपन क्या कर रहे हैं ना इतना भी करने के बाद भी गलीलियो ने बोला कि सेंसरी मेनी साइंटिस्ट ने no, like, where is it? इतना भी करने के बाद भी वे नहीं बोला कॉन्शियस मतलब जागरूक एग्जैक्टली तो गलीलियो ने सेंसोरिटी क्वालिटीज की टेस्ट स्मेल वैसा क्वालिटीज नहीं है नहीं पता वो ऐसा नहीं बोला if Galileo were to time travel to the present day and be told that scientific materials are having a problem explaining consciousness in purely physical terms he would not reply of course they do I created physical science by taking consciousness out of physical पता क्या बोल रहा है नाउ दिस इज अ जोक अभी तो ना गैलीलियो ने टाइम ट्रैवल कर दिया एंड गैलीलियो केम बैक एंड देन दे आर सेइंग दैट अरे हमारा मटेरियलिस्टिक साइंटिफिक है ना उनको थोड़ा नुकसान हो रहा है क्या हुआ कि उनको अभी भी कॉन्शियसनेस को फिजिकल टर्म्स में के इक्वेशन टर्म्स में नहीं वो एक्सप्लेन कर सकते हैं, तो के लिए कि ये बोलेगा कि मैंने फिजिकल साइंस से कॉन्शियसनेस, ये वाला फिजिकल वर्ल्ड से कॉन्शियसनेस ने बाहर निकाल कर ये मैथ फिजिकल साइंस बनाया है यार. लाइक यू ऑलवेज नो राइट, जब तू लाइक व्हेन अ बॉल इज इन फ्री फॉल, तो कॉन्शियसनेस है एयर फ्रिक्शन और एयर रेसिस्टेंस. बट हमारा क्वेश्चन पेपर में क्या होते हैं भैया, पहला इंस्ट्रक्शन होते हैं नेग्लेक्ट एयर रेसिस्टेंस. ये तो पीवाई क्यों है भाई. तो नेग्लेक्ट एयर रेसिस्टेंस, दैट इज द फर्स्ट थिंग. तो पहला क्वेश्चन, which of the following statements can be inferred from the passage, can be inferred from the passage. Okay, the passage argues that all that science could uncover all mysteries. No, the passage is still saying that science couldn't uncover what is consciousness or something. So that is out of the context. That is alien concept, or that is contradicting. We know Baines plus C, so we will eliminate only on the basis of this because that is enough. The passage argues that science could uncover all mysteries of the world by giving alternative explanations. See, when materialists proposed alternative explanation, the science, what happened when materialistic alternative explanation, like they became more confused and there was no proper explanation. So this is also a contradiction of the data. This also cannot be inferred from the passage. The passage argues that science could never uncover all the mysteries of nature. That is also not said. The never uncover or can uncover was not the topic. Like how they're uncovering consciousness, that was the problem. So it's not mysteries of nature. Fine. The passage argues that science and consciousness are two different domains. Can be inferred because science and हमारा गलीलियो भाई ने क्या किया, साइंस एंड कॉन्शियसनेस को अलग कर दिया. ही सेपरेटेड दिस कॉन्शियसनेस को अलग कर दिया, सेपरेट कर दिया. So two different events that can be inferred. Let's park it here. It's a good option. Say the passage argues that nature is so mysterious that humans are not even aware of phenomena that can be researched. Nature so mysterious, alien concept. Humans are not aware, again alien concept. They are aware, they are trying to research but cannot find a proper answer. So D is my answer here. Which of the following options would most likely be an example of hard problem? Hard problem. Yeah. Feeling the heat while holding a glass of water. This is a sensory problem. It is not a hard problem. This is a person subjective problem. So this is not that. Experiencing joy after doing well in the examination. Again, experience. Like if you are a constant topper, you would not feel any special kind of happiness after the exam and something. What makes us tired after exam? What makes us tired after walking for 20 kilometers? That is also a person centric. That's not a hard problem. Why we prostrate in front of a deity? Why we lie down or why we pray in front of a deity? Why we pray in front of a deity? That is also not a hard problem because many people like pray for different things. Why do humans take birth? That is, of course, to enhance population. That is a hard problem. That is not sensory based. Like that's a thing of nature. So E would be my likely to be an example of hard problem. E would be a most likely to be an example of hard problem. Which of the following statements captures the essence of the passage? Which captures the essence of the passage? Let's see. Let's see. Materialists redefine the hard problem by changing the issues. This is not the whole thing. The whole thing was kind of like solving the hard problem and stuff. Like consciousness was separated and then how the hard problems were solved. Okay, the hard problem cannot be solved by materials. This is also not the whole thing. What is not, like this is all a part. Materials can explain the reasons humans see a particular color. That can be done, but that was not the essence of the passage. Essence means what is the important thing in the passage? What is the important thing in the passage? Materialists and philosophers agree on the concept of consciousness. Philosophers agree. No, they don't agree on the philosopher. It is philosophers have an optimism that these materials will break down the concept of consciousness when science improves. There is no agreement on the concept of consciousness. Then hard problem can best be solved by segregation. ना ये तो हमारा अरिस्टोटल गलीलियो भाई ने किया, so he is my best option. See here, Galileo did not deny, but he solved the hard problem like this. So if you want to solve a hard problem, you need to segregate like consciousness from empirical facts. Like when you are saying a ball is under free fall, you should neglect air friction, and then only you can get your proper answer, or else it will not be a standardized answer. Let's move to the last set. Hmm, last set. Now this has 7 questions. I will give you 1 minute per slide. Only 1 minute. Okay, we'll have to get done by 10:15. I'll go to the next slide in 9:46. Okay. Next slide. Set. This is the last set, guys. This is the last set. So, and it has 7 questions. Let's go to the questions. Okay, I'll give you 10 seconds per slide more once again. So let's move to the questions. 1 minute per question. Okay. Yes, this is the B option. Okay. There's some sort of typing there. Question number 2. Next question, people. Question number 2. Next question, people. This is a very easy question. Okay. Next question, people. Next question, people. Last question of the session, people. Suitable title. So let's start. I'll give you one more week, okay? Question one, question two, question three, question four, question five, question six, question seven. So this is the last question. So let's start with the passage. So long passages. The need for regulation to protect the environment gets widespread but grudging acceptance. It's getting the need for regulations to protect environment is getting widespread, but grudging acceptance. People are not accepting it. People are grudging it. People have a grudge towards it. Okay, fine. Widespread because everyone wants a livable planet. Now he is explaining this. Widespread. Why it is widespread? Because everyone wants a livable planet. Grudging because now why is it grudging? Lingering belief that environmental regulations erode competitiveness. It's grudging because the environmental relations erode competition. They kind of erode the competition. That is why it's grudging. The prevailing view is that there is an inherent and fixed trade of ecology versus economy. Like when you favor ecology, there's a trade-off for favoring ecology, then economy like goes down. That's a trade-off. Like one goes up, the other goes down. On one side of the trade-off are the social benefits that arise from strict environmental standards. Trade-off ka ek side. One side is that the social benefit that arise. There are social benefits when you stick to the environmental standards, when you use sustainable things. Of course, it's costly, but there are trade-off when you use plastic bag, paper boxes instead of plastic containers and all. There are like on the other hand, industry's private costs for prevention and cleanup costs that lead up higher prices and reduce competitiveness. Now, what happens? The industry's private costs and prevention and cleanup costs that lead higher prices and reduce competitiveness. With an argument framed this way, progress on environmental quality has become a kind of arm wrestling match. One side pushes to the first and the side tries to roll them back. The balance of Power shifts one way to other depending on the prevailing political winds. What are they saying? They're saying if you hold tight to environment standards, then economy will sell. Like say, if you use degradable and sustainable methods, there is an industry called cleaning industry that is going to take a hit. That is going to take a hit. Now there is also like reduced competitiveness. Also, the competition will be reduced, and all this economy will be suffered. And now this has become an arm wrestling match. One side pushes for ecology, the other side pushes for economy. Now, this is all happening due to the what is the prevailing political winds. Whether you want to like whether the politicians wants to give importance to ecology or to economy. This is all based on the politician stuff. Great. Now politicians are also like deciding how our environment should be. Great. Wow. The static view of environmental regulation in which everybody except regulation is held constant is incorrect. Static view of environmental regulation in which everything except regulation is held constant is incorrect. If technology products, processes, and customers' needs were all fixed, the conclusion that regulation must raise costs would be inevitable. But companies operate in the real world of dynamic competition, not in the static world of much economic theory. They are constantly finding innovative solutions to pressure all sorts from competitors. Customers. Now, what are they saying? According to the view of environmental regulation, they have a static view. Everything except regulation should be changed. Regulation is always constant. How can you say that earlier, let's say the problems were due to 10% plastic and this kind of micron of plastic? Let's say earlier it was 40 micron plastic that was polluting. Now it's 30 or 20 or maybe 50 or 100. So if the regulation is not changing, how will it lead, give a good impact? So that is the important thing. Now the companies are like running on the very dynamic pace. They are changing every day. They are advancing. So they're finding innovative solutions from competitors, customers, and regulators to all the problems. They're putting pressure also. Let's see. Properly designed environmental standards can trigger innovations that lead to cost of a product or improve its value. Such innovations allow companies to use a range of inputs more productively from raw materials to energy to labor, thus offsetting the cost of improving environmental impact and ending stalemate. Ultimately, this enhanced resource productivity makes the companies more competitive, less net. Now, what are they saying? That when I do all this, my cost will increase. That was something that they're saying. But here, what happens is properly designed environmental standards. If the environmental standards are properly designed, then the innovations would improve. Like, let's say tomorrow, if we like we find a hydrogen car, so the only byproduct of like hydrogen plus oxygen, you get water, of course. So like due to the combustion of hydrogen. So of course that is a very good thing, and that's innovations allow the company to grow higher. It is not like a trade-off or something. Okay. So this enhanced productivity makes the companies more competitive, not less. Consider how the Dutch flower industry has responded to its environmental problems. Now they are giving an example to this that it will make it more competitive. How is that? Consider how the Dutch flower industry has responded to its environmental problems. Dutch flower industry, how did they respond to the environmental problem? They're giving an example. Intense cultivation of flowers in small areas was contaminating the soil and groundwater with pesticides, herbicides, and fertilizers. Like small area, high cultivation, pollution was happening. Okay, fine. Facing increasingly strict regulation on the release of chemicals, the Dutch understood that only effective way to address the problem would be develop a closed loop system. Now, like when the regulations were increased, they introduced a new system called a closed loop, and that was the only way out. Okay, in advanced Dutch greenhouses, flowers now grow in water and rock wool, not in soil. Now they found an alternative. They are using water and rock wool instead of soil, and that this lowers the risk of infestation, reducing the need for fertilizer and pesticides. So initially, so their cost is going down. They have a way, like they have a sustainable alternative also, that it is not a trade-off, it is benefiting the both sides, which is delivered in water that circulates and is reused. Wow. Like when you put water into the soil, it will absorb and you cannot reuse it directly. And it goes, of course, it goes underwater, then you get it back and like the precipitation, the evaporation stuff. I know all that, but the thing is that you can reuse it directly only, no? So what is the problem? The tightly monitored closed loop system also introduces variation in growing conditions, thus improving productivity. Like now, this is a closed loop, this is a simulated environment. Now, these variations are improving the product quality. Handling costs has gone down because the flowers are cultivated on specially designed platforms. These specially designed sustainable platforms handling costs come they reduce the handling costs in addressing the environmental problem. Then the Dutch have innovated in ways that they have raised productivity with which they use many of the resources involved in growing flowers. They use many of the resources that were used to grow flowers, then they found an innovative method. The net result is not only dramatically lower environmental impact, but also lower cost. What was the net result? Lower environmental impact and lower cost. So this is not a trade-off what they are trying to prove. Better product quality and enhanced global competitiveness. So there were a lot of benefits, lower environmental impact, lower quality, like lower cost, better product quality, enhanced global competitiveness. So that everything was better only. This example illustrates why the debate about the relation between competitiveness and environment has been framed incorrectly. So this has been framed incorrectly. We know, right? In the initial paragraph, they said that it was a trade-off between ecology and economy, but it was framed incorrectly. Policymakers, business leaders, and environmentalists have focused on the static cost impacts of environmental regulation and have ignored the more important offsetting productivity benefits from innovation. Like they were always fixed on the static cost, so this will cost a lot of money, but they wouldn't know how much money they would reap from the future. So they were all fixed on one parameter only. As a result, they have acted too often in ways that unnecessarily drive cause slow cause and slow down progress in environmental issues. The static mindset has thus has created a self-fulfilling prophecy leading to ever more constantly environmental regulation. Regulators tend to set regulations in ways that deter innovations. Companies in turn oppose and delay regulations in innovating to address them. The static mind has thus created a self-fulfilling prophecy. Now, what is the prophecy? That like the regulators set regulations in ways that deter innovation. They won't promote innovation. Innovation is not promoted. In companies, they delay regulation instead of innovation. They are like, I'm not going to pay attention to this. I'll pay the fine or whatever. I'm not innovate because that this thing is really hardcore. The whole process has spawned an industry of litigators and consultants that drain resources from real solutions. Now, what has happened? Litigators means advocates and consultants means people who consult. Now, all this thing, the regulation, the economics, and everything. Sorry. Now, what has happened? They are feeding litigators and consultants. No real solution is happening. Now, that is the thing. Let's look into the questions now. Which of the following is or are not true in the context of the passage? Following advanced technology successful across Europe has helped Dutch flower industry boom. Are not true. So that is false. So this is true though that is not my option. Having a static view of environmental regulation is not desirable. Exactly. That was the whole thing. Like if that is too static and the companies are changing, so this would be really inappropriate. There exist disagreements among the shareholders with respect to the regulation to protect the environment. Shareholders, aliens, regulation to protect the environment, again alien concept. So accordingly only C is false. So my option would be here D. The author in the given passages, that's no, bro. You can't say that because he told about Dutch flowering industry doesn't make him Dutch. He could be German, he could be Indian, he could be even a Malayali. Who cares? Encourage policymakers and stakeholders to innovate. Yeah, that is kind of true. Like he wants innovation, he supports innovation. Is pessimistic. I'm marking it here. Okay, is pessimistic about the outlook people have towards environment protection. He's not pessimistic. He's not. He's actually confused. He's not saying that this is all shit. People don't have that. It's not that attitude. It's not pessimistic. It's an extreme. So this is ruled out. This is an alien. This is again ruled out. Like always go for Baines plus C. Always go for Baines plus C, boys. Beans is language-based triggers or literature-based triggers, and C is logic-based triggers. Encourages forests to adopt the closed loop system for outlaws. This is also a very alien concept. Encourages forest to adopt closed loop system. No, they said that how the closed loop system paid off. It was competitive, it was good. Not encouraging anyone to take it. Is contented with the present governments for playing their role efficiently. No, no, no. He is criticizing the government. He's saying in the initial paragraph that either it is ecology or it's economy, then that is according to the political wins only. So B is my option. Which of the following correctly explains the meaning of the phrase ending in the stalemate as used in the terms of innovation and in the passage? Ending the stalemate. Explanation of this stalemate. Dependent on technological advances, ending the stalemate doesn't means that like it's a stalemate means a deadlock or a like dilemma. So let's see, resolves a deadlock. That is, deadlock means like the arm wrestling competition, the, now resolving a conflict. It's kind of a, depletes resources, ending the stalemates. No, stalemate is kind of a dilemma, not that. Adversely affects the environment. That is also not. Ending the stalemate means curbs innovation, also not. So B is my only logical answer. I'll select B. Now 4. Which of the following is most nearly the opposite? So you have to pick out the antonym of the word trigger. Okay, today morning itself I have used, like today evening itself I have used trigger at least 5 to 6 times. So you know trigger, its cause. Now what is support is not its antonym, effect is not its antonym, prevent is its antonym, switch is not its antonym, elicit is not its antonym. So C would be my answer. Trigger has been used like 2 or 3 times today. I said language based triggers and logic based triggers many times. Trigger is something that turns you on or that you pull. That is a like a catalyst or something. Which of the following nearly means spawn? Spawn means to create or to produce. Created or created. Mounted. Mounting means to put on something, to mount a backpack or to mount a sandal. No. Issued. To issue an order. No. Sprayed. No. Destroyed. No. It's created only. Spawned the wings of the Great Revolution means created the wings of the Great Revolution. That only means created or produced. As mentioned in the passage, the need for regulation to protect environment exists in different intensities among stakeholders. See, intensity was not discussed anywhere, so this is an alien concept. Need for regulation is not like this is not a valid option. It's affected by political pressure. Even though the political wind was talking, but there was no political pressure. Only forms out to be an expensive. Actually, the need for regulation and environment, like this is you need to pick the false statement. Okay, a bit of the question is missing here. Like pick the false statement here. Always firms out to be affair. Like this is the false statement according to the passage. So the need for regulation, this is all not supported. So only C would be my option. This is a like the question has some sort of mistake. So ignore the question. Okay. Which is the following a suitable title for the passage? Let's see. Stringent environmental regulation are must for supporting the economy. Topic was about creating a leeway between this so that everything would like the innovations would be there. Like, no. Green and competitive, accommodating the two sweets at one sheet. Cool. That's a great thing. I'm going to park it here because as far as I am seeing, this is a great thing. See, green and competitive, like ecology and economy both together. According to two sweets at one sheet, like one sheet, one problem, two sweets, what sweet accommodating. Innovation and agriculture, like across the word, that is only a part, not a whole. So I'm parking this here. Environmental policies affect only on paper. Mm, It's like if it was like this only, then it would be more of a criticizing thing. Like this happened, then it's like no, it's like how to be both environmental friendly and competitive. That was the entire topic of discussion. So this is also not the option. All of the options given below, like you can't put all the titles there. So B would be my correct option. So it ends our beautiful 2 hour 15 minutes VRC marathon. So everybody who has watched it, the important thing I have to say is that the examiner would try to trick you in small things. So like when attending the local questions, always go back to passage and try to formulate the main idea as fast as you can. That is the only advice I can give you now. And exams are around the corner. Happy preparation, guys. All the best from my side and all the wishes from grad school.